This video is sponsored by me. Read my original novel, Dance of Frozen Death. Link in the description. This video has spoilers for the beginning of The Last of Us Part 2. You have been warned. Greetings, fellow mortals. Now, destined to suck is a strong statement, clickbaity by design. Before watching this show, I can't say that it will be terrible, but one thing I can say is that it will fail to live up to the original Last of Us, which is a trend because even the remake failed to live up to the original Last of Us, which makes sense because a game from 2013 does not need any changes. I'm glad that the sales for Part 1 sucked. It was well deserved. Cash grabs are a terrible thing.
Oh, no.
But that's one criticism that I can't give the HBO Last of Us. It is 100% not a cash grab. It's a chance to expand a great story to a larger audience, because as much as I love the original Last of Us, it didn't need to be a video game. I don't think that anyone would argue that you could just watch all the cutscenes and interactions and have the exact same experience. It was, is, and always will be a great story set in a decent video game. People that praise it as the best game ever made are wrong. People that say that it is the worst game ever made are wrong. If people complain about the trend that The Last of Us started, well, that's a matter of preference. Look, there's so many different video games coming out. There is no reason to get mad because the largest budget ones from Sony want to be movies. The number of other games out there is outrageous.
Let me handle this. Calm down. Now get back to your seat. I'll take care of this. Calm down.
So, originally, I was fascinated to see what The Last of Us show would be. Of course, one of the first bits of news that I got was that they changed the race of the little girl that dies within the first 10 minutes of the game, which was a weird move that was openly mocked by all sides. It's amazing to see everyone get together to mock a decision that was really dumb. They just walked into that. Why would you change the character that's going to die? Why would you do this? That is a very dumb thing to do. Change someone else. Change Tess for all I care. But dude, ugh. And that leads into another problem in the form of the runtime. There will be 10 episodes of this thing. Most of them will be over an hour long. I can bet that at least 2 of the episodes will be 90 minutes. If you add all of that time together, you will get 11 to 12 hours. This is coming from a game that is 8 hours long, even if you die multiple times. There is a 100% chance that the HBO Last of Us is going to be so bloated that it's going to threaten to explode at the seams. Finally, there is the weird dismissal of the source material. Now, this is a unique trend that has been happening in a lot of different things. Books, comics, and games get thrown away for the sake of some weird fan fiction that only has the same name as the original source. Just look at Halo, The Witcher, recent MCU, DC stuff, and the Rings of Power. These are all properties that no longer care about the original material at all. In fact, they spit on what came before. There was even an odd statement that live action was better than video games because video game characters can die. They're just pixels on the screen, so they can come back. That makes live action the most emotional form of storytelling, because we are totally seeing everything happen on the screen live. It's not just a bunch of pixels on our television screen. It's happening right in front of us, and it's not made up at all. It's just not people playing pretend, because if we start breaking all of this down, it's just a bunch of made up nonsense instead of art that strikes at our souls. Don't pull at the strings.
You are 046, Popeye. Yeah.
Not to mention that this is a weird dismissal of animation, especially considering that one of the best video game adaptations ever made was animated. Arcane was so good that it convinced people that League of Legends was good. Yeah, that's a level of quality that still blows my mind, which is weird considering that there's apparently still a curse on video game adaptations. At least according to Neil Druckmann, all previous adaptations suck. Forget about Arcane, forget that Detective Pikachu was way better than it had any right to be, forget that the Sonic movies are beloved and made all the money possible, forget that The Witcher Season 1 was fantastic, forget that Cyberpunk Edgerunners helped heal 2077's reputation. We all know that there's no curse. It's that all other mediums look down on video games as lesser art. When there's a bad adaptation, it's because the studio just doesn't care. It's a cash grab. So maybe you shouldn't tell your lead actress to not play the game. And maybe you shouldn't change a fundamental part of the lore. And maybe you shouldn't spit in the face of the fan base that loves the game a little bit too much. Because all of this is making me think of the Halo TV show. And you should never remind me of that pile of garbage.
No, 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 no!
None of this bodes well for the show, and I'm not hating the actors, except that they should just put on the stupid gas masks. It's part of the lore, just do it. You will still get your money, so shut up. And I beg everyone listening to this to please leave the girl playing Ellie alone. Do not message her, do not tweet her, do not be a creep, do not threaten her. None of anything that happens is on her. I can assure you that she's going to be a victim in all of this. Just like how Daisy Ridley is a victim of the terrible ending of the Star Wars sequel trilogy. And oh my god, I just looked her up and saw that she was in 12 minutes. This poor woman just can't catch a break, huh? If you don't know what 12 minutes is, please go look it up. I don't want to spoil the surprise of that ending. It is truly one of the worst things to ever happen in a decent game. It literally ruins the whole experience. So, what to do? Well, I would suggest watching the Last of Us cutscene on YouTube for a better experience. But if you want to watch this mess, then it will be released every Sunday on HBO Max for like the next 2 months. This is one time where I'm actually looking forward to hate watching something. Last of Us as a brand is pretty much dead to me. I still have the memories of the original in me, but every single follow-up project has been so terrible to me. I can't wait to get a few beers in me and laugh at this giant mess. But if I'm wrong, I will willingly eat my words. I will come on here and apologize that I was dead wrong. I will say that The Last of Us show is fantastic. They didn't just throw it up in January because people are trapped inside from the cold. After all, only good things come out in January. It's not the trash movie month at all. Yet another thing that has me expecting the worst here. As I said though, I will eat my words if I'm wrong. I will come here and praise it if it's great. I will shrug if it's mediocre. I will laugh if it's terrible. Because while it's destined to fail in comparison to the game, it might not be the worst thing ever made, and maybe Naughty Dog will finally fulfill its dream and become a film company. Because that's what it wants to be. Even if I love the original Last of Us and the Uncharted games, they are as much video game movies as you can possibly get.
Welcome back, Captain Obvious.
Yes, I am!
My predictions are this. The first episode is going to be way too long. It's going to take the first 10 minutes of the original game and stretch it until it dies. In fact, every section of the game will be made twice as long, with reaction shots lasting several minutes at a time. The fungus zombies will look cool, but they won't appear enough. People will be the real villain. In fact, the true villain of this show and the story overall is going to end up being the main character. Joel will get torn apart. Neil Druckmann hates that character so much that he created a self-insert character just to spit on Joel's corpse in The Last of Us Part 2. Yes, that happened. They took away Joel's competency, intelligence, and moral nuance, painted him as a monster, and brutally murdered him. All so they could spit on him at the end. And by the time The Last of Us show is over, I'm sure that the sequel game will look tame in comparison to how monstrous they make TV Joel.
Buckle up, buckaroos!
But what do you think? Am I completely off base here? Are you excited for this show? Do you expect a mess like I do? Are you even a fan of The Last of Us? Do you just hate the whole series? Please leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear your perspectives. And thank you so much for watching. If you like my takes on storytelling, please consider subscribing and liking the video. It would really help me out. Also, please remember that I just released my original novel, Dance of Frozen Death, Book 1 in the Written in Stone series. Link in the description. I hope that you will check it out. I appreciate you. Do not despair.